Hey, Real Nerds listeners, your favorite host Ryan here to remind you that social media is great. How great is it? There's many ways you can find the Real Nerds on social media. You can download us on iTunes. You can listen to us streaming on Stitcher Radio. You can call us 720-6nerds5. Aw man, our website is so cool. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You want to leave some fan mail? Oh, that's so easy, realnerds@gmail.com. Twitter, we got it, @real_nerds. You can even like us on Facebook. Thank you so much, and hey, enjoy the show.
Hey, this is Andre Gower from the Monster Squad, and you're listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con 2015 and beyond. I am Zach. With me, as always, is
James
and
Brad.
Right on. We've got a whole room full of people here. No, not really. We're
it's just us.
It's
just
just
a
us
quiet
this week.
little.
It's the core group.
Yeah.
A quiet little David Finchian.
I wasn't here last week, and I listened to the episode, and you know how we always say unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con?
We didn't last week. I think we forgot
Because
last
you
week.
took mine over because
Well,
you.
in general.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We usually try to, but after hearing Steve, I think maybe we should change it up and start considering maybe dropping the unofficially and saying officially the official podcast of the Denver Alamo Draft House
Yes.
instead. 'Cause
Like
it seems
that.
like they want us on board.
Get an official sponsorship, get a big old logo and whatnot.
Start
Just
making
Real
some
Nerds
fucking
presents
money.
the Alamo.
Right?
Yeah. That would be cool. It was really cool having him on. He was
I
really
know.
fun.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah. I'm
I'll explain why later.
sorry.
Yeah. What did you watch this week?
I forgot to write it down. I'm doing it right now.
Cool. So
before-
Brad, Zach, what do we do here?
We see a movie each week and we talk about our experience with that movie, what we thought of it. Did we hate it? Did we hate its guts? Or did we love the shit out of it? This week we saw You Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, Girl, starring Batfleck and the girl from The World's End. Did we like Fincher's latest opus? Stay tuned for the later end of the show. We also reviewed DVDs, talk about what we've been watching, unspool some real news, and we talk about comic books. Do we have a comic book this week?
Probably once we get there.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find one eventually. We always seem to find one lying around in a long box somewhere. But
nicely done.
before all that, I got to tell you, I had my favorite / worst experience at a movie theater of all time. So I went to, it does delve into what we watched, but I'm not going to talk about the movie. I went to go see Tusk again.
Oh, well, that's why you had the worst time.
Yeah. Oh, shut up. I went to go see the movie again, and on my way out, I was robbed at knife point.
No fucking way.
Yeah, I was robbed at knife point. They
At
only
a
got-
theater.
Right outside the theater?
Outside of the theater, yeah, right outside near
Well-
the parking lot of Colorado Center, by a man in a hoodie. And at first, he just wanted money for the bus, and I was just going to give him $1, and I shouldn't have pulled out my wallet. That was a stupid move. But he's like, "You sure you don't have anything else?" And I look down, there's a knife, just standing there, and I'm just like, "There you go." Like, I was like, I just saw a movie about a human walrus, so clearly I'm not spending my money in the right places anyway.
Holy shit, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it was strange. I called my dad right afterward, and I'm like, I've just been mugged, and he's just like, well, let me tell you, I've been mugged twice.
Holy
Damn.
shit.
So immediately it was my father going like, you know what? Fuck you, you're a pussy.
Wow.
But he was good about it, and he's just like, are you okay? Are you settling down? Are you
Yeah.
freaking out? Do you need a Xanax and some shit? And so,
Is your dad peddling Xanax? Is that what
only to you
Oh, okay.
and Brad.
Holy shit. So, the moral of this lesson is don't go see Tusk.
No. The moral of this story is go see Tusk and be brave, and then who knows? You could have a Batman origin story. You don't know.
Oh,
Get a credit card.
Oh, yeah, or only use credit cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or well, you know what's funny? The best thing about that situation was that I did leave my wallet at home that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So really it was just whatever you had in your pockets.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Well, it was just like it was like I had my wallet, but I didn't have my ID or my credit card.
Yeah.
So I was using it to get some stuff online, and I just left it up by the computer. So all I had in my wallet was my $8 and a couple of like punch cards from from a couple sandwich shops. So I'm like, and the
You
ticket
fucking
stub.
lost your free sandwiches.
I
didn't
did.
you?
I lost my free sandwiches,
Son of
and
a
I lost my
bitch.
ticket stub to Tusk. So I'm just really hoping that the robber just took my money, went back in, and went to go see Tusk.
All right, so listeners, if you're out there, send in whatever.
You didn't want your phone either,
like,
huh?
Do you want my phone? No. Well, I mean, look at my phone. This is the phone I have now. It's a Verizon. Like, it's kind of like the phone that Ben Affleck uses in Gone Girl, where it's just like it's not anything to really steal or anything. So,
Yeah.
but
well, that's because he's using that burner.
I just didn't like that it was out in front of a bus stop. Like, it was just like there should
Yeah,
be
that's creepy.
there. It was just like, and he was concealing the knife. He was like holding it like this, and I'm just like, well, what am I gonna do? Scream out loud? Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I called the cops afterwards, and like, filled out a report and everything. So hopefully, Denver's on the lookout for the guy who took my ticket stub and my $8. I really hope that they catch this thieving criminal.
Well, it should be pretty
Well, you
easy
should
because
hope
based
they do.
on
yeah,
based on
well, I
ticket
don't want him to
sales-
do it to anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And based on ticket
That's-
sales, he's the only person in Denver who has a ticket stub to see Tusk. So it should be pretty easy to find him. Yeah. So there's a good chance that.
Well, there's me and that guy, so it could
Yeah,
be like
exactly.
a Gone Girl mystery like we had today, where it's just like, I did not kill that hobo.
They'll just run into him and be like, "Wait a second, you got a ticket to Husk? Are you from the Real Nerds? No. What are the
No.
Real Nerds?
You're
This
under arrest."
motherfucker right
They just
here."
arrest you instead.
Yeah.
I think the real crime here is
Yeah.
perpetrated by this.
I mean, they
gentleman.
would also arrest him if he admitted to being on the Real Nerds, but still.
Your Honor,
Um,
is it true that my client here robbed this young man of $8? Yes. But did this young man also spend another $8 to see a walrus picture? Case fucking closed.
Oh,
I have to
man.
side with the plaintiff on this one.
But
Or no, I guess he'd be the defendant if he was.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he'd be the defendant. I'd be the plaintiff. And like my only excuse would be
Dun,
like,
dun, dun,
like
dun,
I
dun.
wanted to see Michael Parks act really good 5 times in a row.
Dun, 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 dun,
So, but
dun.
dun. I feel like
Well, in
I'm
that
an
case,
episode of Law
Zach,
and
we'll
Order.
reduce your sentence to only 20 years.
Thank you. And then I just go like
20
"Judge-
years in creative prison.
Judge, I'll blow you. 5 years. So now we can start into the show. Why don't we unspool some real news?
Okay.
It's real news.
Not a lot of stuff this week, but some weird things and potentially some pretty big things.
September's a dry month for news.
So maybe dude, September's a dry month for movies, but it's over now. It's October, so
Drier than my girlfriend. Whoa.
whoa, that got weird.
Yeah.
So couple of little things. One, Netflix is making movies, which isn't really a surprise, but they've been making their own TV shows for a while, and it's actually been they've been really successful with it. Orange is the New Black, which I've never seen, but I hear about as much as I used to hear about Breaking Bad almost. Certainly by its second or third season.
Yeah. There's House of Cards and Arrested
And House of
Development.
Cards, which was awesome. Yeah, Arrested Development. So they've done a really good job of that. They are taking sort of the same. Of course, technically, I think the first one was Lilyhammer, but they're taking a very similar tactic with movies, though, where the first thing they're going to do is a sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which we don't know a whole lot about yet, but.
I know that
I don't know.
Regal and Century Theaters or Cinemark Theaters are refusing to show it in their IMAX screens.
Oh
because
yeah,
of it.
so they like Netflix would like to release them in theaters as well, like in a day and date release schedule, so you could see it in theaters or you could see it on Netflix on the same day. Who knows whether that's going to work or not? It doesn't sound like a terribly
They tried it with Tower
enticing
Heist.
movie with. Oh yeah,
they
that's
tried
true.
it back. They tried it back 2 years ago and it didn't work because no
Yeah.
theater would accept it. Maybe nowadays it's going to be an easier market for them to do something like that.
I don't think the theaters are going to fight this tooth and nail, but
As they should. Look at that.
I mean, it is their.
I'm all for progression and technology, but the theater is the theater. To me, it's a traditionalist kind of sacred place.
It
Sometimes,
doesn't make-
sometimes.
Yeah,
Not
like
nowadays. Like the theater we went to see our movie tonight, not the best example of what a movie
Yeah.
house can be.
It's a changing environment, that's for sure. Because I do think that the theater offers a service that Netflix can't. but at the same time, what Netflix is doing is kind of undermining what the theaters have been trying to do for forever and undermining their ability to be successful. So I totally understand they're wanting to not really support this, but I think it's just an interesting choice, how that came about and how those conversations with the Weinstein Company must have been to be like, hey, we want to make a sequel to this movie that was a big deal 15 years ago.
Harvey Weinstein's just throw some money at it.
Right. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I've never been a huge Crouching Tiger fan. Are either of you guys?
I saw the movie in the theater. That was all I remember. But I was really young.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah. I remember watching it when I was younger, watching it when I was sort of trying to educate myself about movies I had missed. Within the past, within a few years of when it had released, and I'm not being terribly thrilled with it. I saw Hero in theaters and didn't like it very much, but just to stereotypically bundle all of those Chinese films into one thing that I don't like very much. But it's an interesting choice, and it'll be kind of cool to see where they go. They also signed a deal with Adam Sandler to make a bunch of his movies as well. Hopefully they're all not comedies. But it's a deal with him, so it's all going to be under I would assume it's all going to be under Happy Madison Productions. That's who they signed the deal with.
Yes, it better be, yes.
So it's not going to be Spanglish 2 or
I would totally see Spanglish 2.
Yeah, me too. That's the movie I want is Spanglish 2.
I kind of want Funny People 2, but they'll never make that.
Yeah, Funny People, his best comedy.
I can kind of agree in some ways.
Cool. I'm going to talk about this. Fuck you guys. Carlton Cuse was in the news this week in an interview, and somebody brought up Lost with him, and he basically said that he thinks that show's return is inevitable. So, all right, there needs to be some context here, because what he's saying isn't that he or anybody else related to that show is going to come back and write more of that show. What he's saying is that that name and that franchise has some weight, and that telling another Lost story or creating another show with the Lost name would probably be a good idea, and that somebody, not him or Damon Lindelof, somebody out there might be interested in writing a pretty cool story that is along the same lines and deals with some of the same issues, which I kind of agree with.
That's not a bad idea. It's actually, if it was going to be them going... I love the headline in here. It says, "We have to go back."
Yeah.
And it's from that episode of the show, so I was just at first I was thinking in my head, it's just Matthew Fox going, "We have to go back again."
Right.
But now that you're presenting it that way, I would totally watch it. I was not a fan of the first run of Lost. I thought the show lagged, but definitely good writing, definitely solid writing. I think you and I were talking about it in the car. I'm not a big Damon Lindelof fan, but I can respect the fact that he's a great writer. I'm just not a fan of his writing per se.
Yeah. I think it would be cool. I think you could easily, I love Lost. I think that you could easily do this. You gotta call it Lost, put a subtitle after it, and then tell a story.
Trek Voyager, or
yeah, exactly, and then tell us
Galactica, Chrome and Blood, what was supposed to be Blood
right.
and Chrome.
Yeah, and then tell a story that has absolutely fuck nothing to do with the original show, and in fact break that. You'd have to do it Prometheus style, where sure, maybe some things are similar, but at some point you drop a few hints that say, this is absolutely not what you think it is, and this is absolutely not related to the movies you've seen, or the show you've seen before. Because you wouldn't want... the fans of that show and the people who would be excited about the return of that show, they take the details of that universe very seriously, and those stories, those characters, and those details are precious to them. There are very few shows where people create whole Wikipedias and obsess for years over the tiniest little things in that show. And they could, because that show was written in a way where those details, even if they didn't end up mattering because they weren't really important to the plot of the show, those details were well thought out, and they're intentionally, so that it was fairly rare that two things clashed, that things didn't make sense and there wasn't a reason why things were there. Even if you'd ever found out why the four-toed statue was there, it was interesting and people liked talking about it. So if you made another show and you put the four-toed statue in there and tried to tell a story about the four-toed statue and where it came from, you are betraying the fans of that show, and you will turn them off, and then they will turn you off. So I'm just saying.
You hear that,
I think
Brad?
it's
They're
a-
going to turn me off.
I think it's a really cool idea. They had better be really careful. Whoever takes that up had better do it very intelligently.
I want the film in a very elaborate teaser for Comic-Con, and then when they reveal the pilot of the show, it's just Brad watching the first season of Lost. Just going like, I can't understand.
That wouldn't
this.
happen.
I don't understand this. Why do I keep watching? The second season is him going into the second season, and just goes for 6 seasons. His reaction to each episode.
Anyway, and then the very last thing that I have here is that WB wants to reboot I Am Legend, which I have no problem with.
Who wants to do it?
Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers
Warner
still
Brothers.
owns the I Am Legend. Yeah.
WB.
I liked that movie in theaters. I would have loved it if it didn't have CG monsters in it.
I would have loved
Like
it if
the
they
CG
followed the original ending.
I don't give a shit. Like, I actually liked the story that they told. The problem was that the CG monsters in that movie were not good enough. They, like if they had used practical monsters with CG, like
that would've
stuff
been
to
more
it,
badass.
that would have been so
Yeah.
cool. Because there are moments and sequences in that movie that are genuinely terrifying and really creepy and well thought out.
All the stuff where Will Smith's alone is amazing.
Oh yeah. The first half of that movie is like a tour de force.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and I understand the people who don't like that ending. I don't know. It's not why I was there, but it is. I really do like that ending. Like, I like that butterfly effect and that whole thing. I'm a sucker for some of that shit.
But the whole, I don't know. Like, to me, the whole point of Matheson's story back then was like that. It was the point was that humans became legend after he died.
Yeah.
It became like a myth. So I wanted to see that. Now they were never going to do that ending because
Yeah.
it's Hollywood. But if they did do it, that
Yeah.
would have been cool. Like Will Smith being a really dark kind of movie like that. Like, I'd be like, right on, man. Bravo, Will Smith.
Don't say dark. That's racist.
Whoa.
Anyway, I think that's it. Unless there's something that I missed that you guys know about. No?
No?
Okay, that's news.
Cool. Let's move into some DVD releases and Blu-rays.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
DVD releases. and
Sorry,
Blu-rays.
we already have that thing. I'm sorry. We'll play it now.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Uh,
Way to take the job of the person that
I know,
recorded
I
those
know.
lovely intros.
I just do really like that. Live, Die, Repeat comes out this week. Sorry. Edge of Tomorrow comes out this week.
What was Edge of Tomorrow, James?
I actually don't know. I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm really excited for this to come out because this is one of those that Brad and Ryan, you guys really liked it, right?
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed to meet it. It is such a shame that they fucked up the title of that movie so bad.
Yeah, they didn't go back to the original one. They just gave it a completely new one.
I know.
Live, Die, Repeat.
Well, it's not the title; it's that they took the tagline and made the tagline so big on the cover of the Blu-ray that you have to search for the title of the movie. It's after here, way at the bottom, Cruise Blunt, Edge of Tomorrow. Like, that's the only place the title's on the Blu-ray. It's ridiculous.
And then the listing, the Amazon listing says "Live, Die, Repeat."
Oh yeah.
colon,
Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow. So they
Yeah.
completely.
Right. It's just,
They
it's
should
so
have
bad.
just called it All You Need Is Kill. That's the
Right.
book it's based on, right?
Which was a weird title, but it was at least enticing. Like, Edge of Tomorrow
It's like a nod
sounds
to
like
the Beatles, which is dumb.
yeah.
Like, hey, all you need is love, but
Right.
let's take out love but kill.
No, I agree. I
I'm
agree.
a fan of the Beatles,
But
I guess.
it at least pops a little bit more than Edge of Tomorrow sounds like a really bland, like
Sounds like the November Man.
pulp sci-fi novel from like a not a good classic era of pulp sci-fi novels, like a weird, trashy cheap era written by some guy that like wrote 1,000 books and none of them were good. Like, that's that title comes from that. Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow sounds like a really bad spin-off from a Halo game. Like, that would be
Yeah.
their subtitle. Like, it's just not. Ugh.
Honestly, what adding Live, Die, Repeat really
Oh, no,
does,
that's not
it
good either.
It confuses people who did see the movie, be like,
Oh, did I not see this?
Yeah, this looks like that Edge of Tomorrow I saw, but this doesn't. That's not the
I,
title.
I really like that movie. When can I get Edge of Tomorrow on Blu-ray?
Oh, you can't, but
Yeah.
you can get Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah.
What? No, it's the same thing. You don't get it.
Yeah. Anyway, Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods. I don't know what that is, but it's the number 3 thing this week. Vikings season 2, which damn I missed. I got to check this out because I really like the first season of Vikings. So, A Million Ways to Die in the West, which I feel like got released 1 billion years ago.
Yeah,
We
that
saw
was
that,
a little
like-
while ago.
Yeah, like that. Why has that movie not been out for?
What did you think
a
of
while?
it?
I thought it was funny once, which means I probably won't buy the Blu-ray. But it was really enjoyable in the theaters, but in a I don't need to see those jokes again kind of way.
Yeah, I liked the movie, but I don't know if I could watch it. It would have to be a while before I watch it again.
Yeah.
It's not like Ted where I could watch it again.
Exactly, yeah. But still good. If you didn't check it out in theaters, I think it's definitely worth it. At
Beautifully
the very
shot.
least a rent. Like, yeah. American Horror Story, American Horror Story Season 3, which was a good season, maybe my favorite season so far.
Until the Freak Show comes this season. And
I don't know.
all
Some
the
of the
freaks,
CG
yes.
stuff in Freak Show is going to disappoint me. If there really are like 3-breasted women and 2-headed people, like that's not. I want like, bearded ladies and like,
You want the traditional Todd Browning freaks.
yeah, like I don't want
They never
I don't want
do
them
that
to
ever again.
I don't want them to cross over into like being. I don't want to say too crazy because they that show is about being crazy, but like if there's too much CG, I'm not going to buy in as well.
But that's the only way that you can do. To me, that's the only way you could do a modern day Freak Show, like that. But I mean, you know what's funny? There was a movie that was made like, God, like would have been like 8 years ago called Freak Show, and it was just like a spiritual remake of Freaks, and it was the most like you could not do that movie and release it wide. Like the thing is like because of the fact that it is largely offensive because it's a freak show is kind of exploitative in ways to some people. There are other people on the other side of the coin who say like it's just a way of making a living. But regardless of how you feel about it, it's something that Hollywood will never put out.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're even trying to do it on television is really interesting to me.
I'm
They
sure
tried it with Carnival on HBO like back in 2003.
Yeah, but this won't be like that. Like
Yeah.
this will be their weird, over like the story is over the top, and hopefully aliens will show up again or something like that. Like, yeah, I really enjoy American Horror Story, but not for the reasons I like. Like, I remember watching the pilot and thinking, man, this is actually a genuinely well-made horror show. Like that opening sequence to the first pilot is absolutely terrifying and really well done, really well directed. And the show is a like way over the top, campy, not always well written, way up its own ass. Like it's at times like watching a train wreck through the writer's room, like with how messy that show is, and yet they just keep popping up like really weird stuff that makes you kind of keep wanting to watch it. But anyway, Rick and Morty season 1 comes out this week. Adventure Time season 4.
Both great shows.
There is an Adrian Brody movie called Houdini. I assume about Houdini that I've never heard about, so maybe check that out. This must be a re-release because the Kingdom of Heaven Director's Cut has been out for a while. But season 2 of The Following, which I swear got canceled, but I guess it didn't. Sharknado 2, the second one, comes out on Blu-ray this week. So if you missed that,
Damn you, Shark!
I don't think you missed much. Bates Motel season 2, which I also missed this year. I don't know what the fuck I was
I've
doing.
seen
And-
all but the last 3 episodes. It's
Was
really
season 2 good. Okay, so I got to go back and
Well, you saw the end of the first season, right?
Oh yeah, no, I loved the first season.
Get
First
ready.
season's been great.
Get ready.
Good. Oh shoot, what am I missing? Okay, I got to figure out how to read this because this cover is just fucking amazing. Necromantic. Is this a Shout Factory? Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Jinx again.
Shoot, it's not saying. It doesn't look like it. I mean, it looks beautiful. And this cover, so the cover is a like decrepit, what do you call it? Like falling apart, getting eaten by bugs at this point, dead body. Like not a zombie, but
Decomposing.
like decomposing. Sorry, thank you. It's a decomposing corpse nestled up against the naked breasts of a very attractive woman. It is a painting.
That's a woman?
Yeah, that's a woman. That is see her breasts.
Ah.
That the decrepit body is cupping.
Cupping?
Yeah, and then its eye is falling out into her cleavage.
Dead bodies have
This
all the
is
luck in romance.
This is a ridiculous cover. Oh, it's got a quote from John Waters on it, so that'll give you some idea of what we're
I was
watching.
just saying, groundbreaking like gruesome. The first erotic film for necrophiles.
Oh my goodness! This is a movie where attractive naked women actually have sex with dead bodies.
Ryan probably got it, so
It's-
he'll probably talk about it
Yeah,
next
he'll
week.
talk about it next. He probably
I watched?
Yeah.
he probably watched it with his new infant.
Yeah.
Little Kellen loved it.
Yeah. And there was something else that I'm missing. Mulholland Falls is getting a Blu-ray release this week, so all of you Mulholland Falls fans can go watch that movie. Oh, From Dusk Till Dawn. Interesting.
From Dusk Till Dawn, the Blu-ray.
And Roger and Me. Great.
And The Faculty.
Yep.
There's a lot of Blu-rays coming out.
So, and Short Circuit getting a Blu-ray. You know what
'Cause we
doesn't
need
hold up?
that.
You know what doesn't hold up? Short Circuit. I hate to admit it. Loved it as a kid.
You know who knows that? Pretty much everybody.
I didn't until one drunken evening in college with some friends when I told them, "What do you mean you've never seen Short Circuit? We should watch Short Circuit right now." So we
the
did.
worst words to hear right before you've been roofied. Have you ever seen Short Circuit? Blackout.
Yeah. We should watch Short Circuit too.
It was not. They were not convinced. No, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a fun movie to me, but whatever. All right, that it for DVDs?
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Yeah, that's it for DVDs.
All right, let's move on to some box office numbers.
Cool.
This is the box office stats.
Let me guess, Tusk did nothing again.
Well, let's see. Is it at the top? Nope.
No.
The Equalizer's at the top with $34 million.
Oh, the new Denzel Washington picture.
Uh-huh. The movie we saw came in at number 3, The Box Trolls. That came in at $17.2 million, just barely getting beaten out by The Maze Runner, like $200,000. Now, $200,000. $200,000. Did Tusk make $200,000?
You're going way too far down. I already saw it up near the front.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
Did you?
you're just
Okay.
trying to upset me at this
No,
point.
I just didn't see it. Where was it?
We gotta track
Where
it.
was
We gotta
Where
track
was
it.
Oh, there it was.
There you
did
go.
It make 200. It did.
$200
$292,000, down 65% from the week before.
Okay, so it's
in at
still
number
making money.
21.
Number 21. Well,
So
it'll explain
that's too
why
bad.
it was gone from the theater when we went to go see Gone Girl tonight.
But apparently, it did well enough. I mean, it
That we're
only cost
getting
a couple
Clerks
$1
3.
million.
That was should have been a part of real news. We're getting Clerks 3 because of Tusk.
Yeah, well, I sort of saved it for this.
Okay, well there
Actually,
we
I
go.
just ignored it, but
You just wanted to piss me off.
yeah.
No, yeah, because of the financing or the whatever the financial situation is with Tusk and Yoga Hosers, we're getting to Clerks 3.
Mhm.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I actually like the quote that he had where he's just like, "You think I all failed? Fine, I failed in the Clerks 3."
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So
Yeah.
that was a nice little.
All week in the
yeah.
headlines, like, it bugged me that they can't just say Kevin Smith is finally making Clerks 3, or he got the financing to
Yeah,
do it.
the-
They always
the-
had to do the failure of Tusk to precede the headline.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The internet's full of haters. Like we're all haters. We were hating on things earlier.
No. I like Tusk. I just think it's interestingly kind of funny how poorly it's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a movie about a guy in a walrus suit.
It should have been a midnight
So-
release like Human Centipede, like only midnight releases. I
Maybe.
think he's talked about that. Like he's just like it should have only been on 2 screens and then roadshowed accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, he should have done it the way that he did Red State, where he toured it around. Because I think Red State is I mean, I had said on the show, I think it's a better movie, but I also think that it could have done better in theaters than a man in a walrus suit movie.
Whatever. It's a matter of opinion. But The Equalizer I haven't seen, but it's by the director of Fury and Training
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah.
So cool. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, seems like it's doing well.
It's based on an old TV show, so that might be a little bit of a.
Yeah, but so is Mission
I
Impossible.
don't remember the show The Equalizer though.
So is Mission Impossible. So
Yeah, that's true. I like the show Mission Impossible though.
yeah, and I like the movies.
I like the 4th one.
So cool. What are we doing next?
I think we're gonna do some comic book corner.
Okay.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
Brad, you got anything? What have you read lately?
Nothing. I read nothing.
All right.
I've got a comic book.
Okay, cool.
I went ahead and reread some stuff. I reread Man Without Fear, Daredevil run. Good book. Really still holds up. But the more I read Frank Miller, the more I hear Ryan in the back of my head telling me, like, you can tell it's Frank Miller's writing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Ever since we saw Sin City, and I've just started seeing the tropes of Frank Miller's writing where I'm like, yeah, this is clearly a Frank Miller story and whatnot, and I can just start telling things. But, like, I mean, because I'm sure he has collaborative, like, input from other people, but you can tell, like, certain elements that were from The Dark Knight Returns or stuck in the Marvel universe for the Marvel's sake.
Yeah.
In Daredevil. And then and the artwork's great. It's Frank Miller artwork. The third issue to me with the third issue artwork where Elektra's falling down.
Yeah.
And it's got a backward art of the Kingpin. I used to have that issue when I was like first collecting comics. I used to have it in this like nice little hardcover with like a raised lettering and raised picture. So it was cool seeing that issue again in the back art because it was a thick hardbound copy that had like a bunch of art galleries in the back.
Cool.
So I got to look at those again. That was pretty cool.
You know, if you go back and listen to our original interview with George Jonti from a couple of years ago, we discussed the fact that George Jonti does the interiors for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and we discussed the fact that that's the book that sort of convinced him you could tell more interesting and more mature stories in comic books than what he was used to. And that you could kill characters in comics and make it really interesting.
Yeah, that's right. The Death of Elektra.
Yeah,
Knows-
of course, he didn't know it. I told him in the interview, like, "Hey, this book was really important to you. Why?" And he was like, "Oh."
I get it now.
I had read a lot of things about George Jonti before going into that interview, so
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Cool. Well, that's my comic book.
Cool. So go to Colorado Quince Cards and Comics and pick that up. Talk to Andrew. Tell him Marino Lord sent you and get some awesome comics down there. You can get the trades of the old Daredevil comics for 20% off. Plus, if he's got some of the old issues and stuff there, you get those for cheap. And you can open a slot, and he will drop some comics in there at a discount for you as well. Anything new coming in, like just tell him what you like, and he'll throw it to the side for you.
It
So.
can't be said enough. Andrew's got the hookup, son. You know what I'm saying? That man's got the mad shit notes. But anyway, I don't know
Cool.
why I said mad shit notes.
I don't either. It's weird.
Why don't we talk about what we've been watching this week and forget my bad joke?
Okay.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Brad, what have you watched this week?
What have I watched this week or past couple of weeks since I wasn't here?
Are you continuing your 80s comedy marathon?
A little bit. But let's knock out the TV stuff
Cool.
real quick. I picked up South Park season 17.
Oh my God, there's 17 seasons.
A little disappointed that the packaging finally changed on it.
Oh.
So it's thinner because they only have 2 discs instead of 3 for this. I guess
Son of a bitch.
they went from 12 episodes to 10.
Oh.
And I'd say about 6 of them are really good.
4 of them not so good.
4 of them are just kind of like, that's what I expected, or they're just kind of being silly for the sake of being silly, it seems like. Not the sharpest season of the series, but I mean...
What
it's
episodes were
season
in this
17.
one?
God. What happened?
When we last left South Park.
Didn't think that hard on... Yeah. What did happen?
If you don't remember, it's fine. I was just curious.
Yeah, that's how memorable that season was, is I've already forgotten most of it.
He watched it this morning.
Well, I guess there was the... it was like the whole Lord of the Rings thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's 3 episodes at the end of the season where I forget what they're trying
The
to
console
do.
wars?
No, it's not
No,
the
it's not.
console
that
wars.
was way back when.
Yeah, that was a while ago. This one was what was it?
Well,
I remember watching bits of it.
Oh my god!
remember that
Can't
white
believe I
noise
can't
we were
remember it.
talking about earlier? Michael Keaton's back.
Okay. But yeah. Anyway, there's one where there's like a George Zimmerman commentary
The
one.
George Zimmerman one with the World War Z parody.
Yeah. Which the World War Z is pretty good.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
Then I also watched Comic Book Men Season 2, which I've been
Cool.
anxiously waiting for to pop up on Netflix for
Season 3 or
year
Season
now.
2?
Season 2.
Okay.
Season 3.
Because Season 3 just got on Netflix.
Oh, you're right. No, it's Season 3.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? Yeah. But they pulled Season 1 off, which is I'm a little annoyed by because I'd like to go back and watch those again.
Yeah, those are cool hour-long episodes. I
Yeah.
like the one where they go get the tattoos.
Yeah. But, yeah, Season 3 is fun. Really enjoying that. I've watched it actually twice because they're just easy to... They're good background noise while I'm working.
I liked... did you like Uhura picking up her own doll?
Yeah, but I was cringing when Walt didn't just let her have it for free.
Yeah, that was...
Thank you, Brian.
That's such a weird thing that they keep doing with Walt, which is just to uphold his character and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Which,
And
if you listen to Tell Him Steve, Dave, it's honestly he would do that, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's so tacky.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, it was kind of funny. You charged her?
Yeah. So yeah, and then I just started watching The Walking Dead season 3, which I told you this in the. So the thing is, there's a horde of zombies trying to knock down the fence, and they're constantly just poking through the fence to poking with sticks to kill him.
Yeah.
But at the point where they're finally breaking the fence down, and there's just more and more of them every time they go out there, why would you not just set them on fire?
Oh yeah.
Let
Yeah.
the forest be damned.
That's the
Yeah.
problem with most zombies.
You save your
Why
ammunition.
we set them on fire.
Well, when they're
uh,
one-on-one, it's a bit excessive.
yeah. Well, yeah. Normally, you wouldn't want to waste your gasoline and stuff. But if they're already about to take over the jail,
Yeah, they're basically taking down all your walls.
yeah,
It's critical point. That's when you go into emergency mode.
it's too bad. I didn't finish that season, to be completely honest, and I guess I need to catch up so that I can watch the new one because the trailers for it look cool. But the truth is that the reason I don't like season 3 was that I didn't like what was happening in the jail. I don't mind any of the stuff with the zombies and the stuff with the governor was kind of cool, but inside the jail, they don't play on the paranoia and the sort of psychology of these people in this world the way that I wanted them to.
They've gone back to season 2 where they're just all in an enclosed area talking about the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, how doomed everything is again. We know what the stakes are. Okay,
right,
move on.
Exactly. And it's too bad because in the comics there was a murder in the jail and this whole mystery and even if it was a pretty short at one point, I mean this is spoilers for the comics, but it's been a long time, guys, and I'm not being real specific, but at one point there's a couple, a young couple who decide that they don't want to live anymore, and so they decide to do a murder-suicide pact, and one of them kills themselves and the other one can't bear to do it, and that kind of shit, just this really dark shit that little stories about what these people would be going through, that's what I really loved about the Walking Dead comics. I'm not getting it out of the show. What I'm getting is a very serialized drama.
Every scene is are you going outside the jail? It's dangerous, right? You shouldn't do that. Over and over again,
Yeah.
that same conversation.
So it's funny how that show's turning out the same way that most horror movies are, which is just they do the same things over and over again.
It almost is like that show is getting its own bad horror sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then they go outside, and then they get attacked by another zombie.
yeah.
It's the formula. It works.
Where'd that guy come from? Yeah,
It's
over
weird
and over again.
When you look at the familiarity in most shows, you don't tend to point it out, but when it's a horror show, suddenly everybody gets a little up in arms.
Because the truth is,
Because horror,
the first
horror has to go
episode
through
of
that
that
all the time.
no, the first episode of that show is still one of the best pieces of zombie fiction I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
That episode is awesome and so well made. And so it does kind of feel like it's. I don't want to be I don't want to come off as some hater who's just oh man, that it's just gotten so big that I don't like it anymore. No, it's just not. It's turning into not what I wanted.
Right.
The truth is, I don't read the comics anymore either. So I don't know. Maybe I'm worn out.
So that was all the TV I watched. Then movie-wise, yes, I found Beverly Hills Cop 2 on Netflix, and it was more of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally
Since you
more
didn't,
of the
by-
same.
I'm
by that-
surprised you went in for a second helping.
Well, I
Yeah.
figure I'd give it a shot. Yeah,
And,
it's like a by the numbers 80s sequel. Like everything's just the same, amped up.
Yep.
I was never a big fan of 2 or 3. Well, 3 definitely, but I was never a big fan of 2. I like the first one a
There
lot.
is a third one?
Yeah.
That's the one everyone says is terrible.
Yeah.
So
If
whenever
you-
Maybe that's why I've never seen it.
Watch the third one, but watch it with the commentary with Scott Mosier and Matt Mira.
Yeah, but I don't like
from
the first
Feed.
2 so that much either. So I'm not like.
The way they try to, I can't remember, was it Matt Mira's trying to convince Scott that it's good, but like you listen to Matt Mira explain it and you're just like, okay, maybe if I was living in a different world.
Yeah.
But, oh gosh, I mean, I'm glad you went through 2.
Yeah,
Two can be fun.
Eddie Murphy's good at improvising.
Just
Yeah.
not memorable.
It's just not memorable. Yeah, and they think they're being edgy by having like a female villain in it. But yeah, it's just another big time hotshot running some criminal enterprise, and Eddie Murphy just goes around to different situations and fast talks his way through everything. And there's like one striking shot where the police chief from the last movie, who's all buddy now because Axel Foley's shown him not to be such a hard ass. So anyway, he's doing this private investigation, and then he figures out like he has to be all secretive, and then he goes out of the police station and goes to his car, which is like parked on the side of the road. Which I'm thinking the police chief probably has his own space in the police station parking lot, but for the purposes of the chase scene that they're about to do, it just has to be parked on the side of the road.
Right.
Yeah, that's how not into the plot I was paying attention.
Yeah, they were just like looking at the small details.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like movie maker mode. I was watching logistically does this make sense and stuff? Yeah.
That shit that should not be right there.
Then on to the good stuff. So I missed last week because I saw Howard the Duck in a
Howard
theater.
the Duck. You missed Box Trolls. from
I know. I
Howard
felt
the
bad
Duck.
because
You
I
know
want to
what?
support.
We have to figure out who really
traditional
lost
animation.
in this realm, though, because Howard the Duck is fun.
Howard the Duck is a fun movie. Unfortunately, the commentary wasn't so hot.
Oh.
They prepared pretty well with their musical cues, but there were long stretches where they had nothing to say.
Oh.
And this is Mile High
This is Mile High
Sci-Fi for
Sci-Fi,
those
yeah.
who don't know.
Yeah, it's my high fight. Sorry. Yeah, which I've been to other shows where they've done well,
Yeah.
but this one was just
kind of
the jokes didn't land for me. But I enjoyed watching the movie again. I haven't seen it in a while. But unfortunately, it was the third time in a row that I've had to move from my seat in a theater.
In an
because
Alamo?
In the Alamo, yes.
Did you complain?
I did. I wrote on my paper, can I get a different seat? Because these two are, like, the one woman always had a comment to add to the movie. And it's like, when you're doing a commentary on a movie as the theme of the movie,
It kind of invites it.
yeah, it's like, how can I really complain about that? Like, there's two other guys who are always talking through the movie.
Yeah, but you came to see them talk through the movie.
Yeah.
You didn't come to see her talk through it. Like, it's not her show.
Right. I was wrestling with it. Like, is
Yeah.
it, like, I guess we could say what we want, but not like,
Was she funnier than them?
she wasn't she wasn't talking to the whole audience. She was just audibleizing
Yeah.
what she had enough that I could hear it.
Yeah, it was more like, this is stupid. Why would they do that? That
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, adding her own jokes, but like within earshot of just the people around her.
Yeah.
Not so much like, hey, I'm adding to what you guys are saying. That
Yeah.
wasn't happening.
Right.
It was just more like strange chuckles or like a lame joke here and there. And then like chatting back and forth with. So I was like, can I just get a different seat? So I moved up front, and and that leads me to the Skeleton Twins, which I saw
Oh.
this week.
Cool.
Right on. Bill
Um,
Hader and Kristen Wiig.
Yeah. I was interested to see, because I've been watching all those SNL episodes. I think they're really funny people. I want to see how they do drama. And the trailer was pretty
It was interesting.
enticing.
Yeah.
So, and they really, the story is, I wish Ryan was here, because to me it felt like it hit all those quirky indie movie things that he always complains about. But the acting is superb. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, you're watching Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader act for like the whole movie. There's no really scene without at least one of them in it. And it's basically the story of these two damaged kids. Like you can kind of figure, they kind of let you know how the father died at the end, but you can kind of follow the breadcrumbs as the movie goes along. They have a mother who kind of abandoned them, but she's once in a while comes back into their lives, but always treats it like nothing's a big deal. She's got this completely separate family too, and then Bill Hader is gay, and he recently got dumped by his boyfriend, and he tries to kill himself, and that's when
Little Miss Sunshine? Little Miss.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So his sister takes him back to, invites him into. They haven't seen each other in like 10 years, and you find out towards the end in a shocking way why. There's in the part in the trailer where they're dancing around and basically like karaokeing to Starship.
Yeah.
It's the extended sequence of that is probably the funniest part of the movie because they do the whole song. Yeah. So
I haven't seen a trailer for this film yet.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, yeah.
It's good. It looked really cool.
Yeah, but yeah, as you go along, you reveal why they're so
damaged.
Yeah, I don't want to use that adjective again, but yeah, they have a lot of baggage and things. And this whole skeleton twins, I thought it was like it might be a metaphor for what's going on, but in the movie, all I saw was like they had tattoos, matching tattoos of that. So,
oh, okay,
yeah, I guess in the end, it's really just about being there, being family, and being there for each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, go see it for the acting because I think the acting is really amazing.
Cool.
Luke Wilson does a really good job as like this kind of clueless, happy-go-lucky husband, and Ty Burrell is this former lover of Bill Hader from his past. Who else is in it? That's all I remember. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Oh, and then the whole thing is I got a nice cushy spot at the Esquire, and then another old couple came down and sat like a row in front of me, but just one to the left in a room full of like empty seats.
Yeah.
And proceeded to chat. In comedy bits, they do this thing that you hear a lot of, just like, who's he? What's going on? She was doing that constantly.
No.
So I had to move again.
It's one of my least favorite things in like people being a little bit chatty and like whispering to each other, like that can be annoying sometimes, but there's something that just really gets under my skin about like, it's not even just old people, but you hear it most with old people where you'll hear them whisper, who is that? Or like, what
is that Kristen Wiig?
Yeah, like that kind of shit. I'm just like, this is not.
Is that Seth Meyers?
Watch the movie. It
Right.
will explain it for you.
Exactly.
If
like,
you just hang in there.
I remember that happening.
They don't
during-
even get the right
That
names.
immediate gratification that these people need.
Yeah, it's
Like-
horrible. I remember being in Moneyball and hearing that like at a time when a character showed up for the first time and hearing somebody go like, "Who's that?" We don't fucking know. Like they just showed up. They have not been in the movie before. Like just hold your horses.
Yeah.
Like this is not your living room. I try really hard to train my parents not to be those old people. Because at home in the living room they can be those people.
Just because
So-
you're whispering doesn't mean it's not distracting.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And I'll explain the third one when we get to the end of the show.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Uh-oh. Well, James, what did you watch this week?
Not much. This week went by really fast for me. So basically, when I wasn't working, because I'm going to Detroit on Sunday, so I've been prepping all week for that. So I was working a lot, and then when I was coming home, I basically didn't want to have to think much. So I pretty much just would come home, lie in bed, and watch The New Girl, which I talked about last week.
That girl.
It's Jess. So, for one thing, the intro to the show is fucking obnoxious, and the name of the show is really stupid. But I keep watching the show because it is actually kind of fun.
So well written.
I don't actually agree.
Oh.
I just think it's fun. I don't think the show is smart at all. Like
It's cute. It's very cute.
Yeah, like the jokes can be clever and the characters are charismatic enough that like I enjoy my time with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I compare it even to something like How I Met Your Mother, which How I Met Your Mother
That's
is
a way smarter show.
Yeah, it really is. That show is not like, I'm not saying that it's fucking Aaron Sorkin or some shit. I'm just saying like that show is trying to be something a little bit more transcendent, whereas New Girl is literally just like, we've got 30 minutes of jokes for you. Like you would put it in the same camp as a, Everybody Loves Raymond kind of a show, or even more, to be fair to it, more like a Seinfeld, where you don't really necessarily plan on taking anything away from it. Whereas How I Met Your Mother, that show, especially with the way that it ended, and fuck you guys who didn't like the ending, but sorry, that was harsh, but fuck you guys.
I'm just glad those kids got to go outside.
Especially
seen it.
Especially with the way that show ended, like it was trying to say something, and it really did have a point to it where New Girl fucking doesn't have a point.
He's trying to say something. He's trying to say fuck the fans.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
There are people who listen to the show who I know who are fans of New Girl. So
No. I'm saying New Girl, just not a smart show, but a fun, interesting show.
I'm not saying they're the smartest people
watch.
I know. But
I'm just saying, like, I've enjoyed watching it. I'm like 1.5. I'm well into season 2, and it's at least good enough that so what I do is I fall asleep while I watch it. So Netflix keeps running a little bit after I'm asleep, so I'll miss 1 or 2 episodes. But it's good enough that the next night I go back and find the last episode I watched and go like, oh, okay, so that's the one I watched, and watch the next one because I don't want to miss any. So that that's the best thing I can say is when I fall asleep during it, I go back the next day to make sure I didn't miss anything.
there you go.
You can put that on the box.
So good, you have to go back.
Yeah. Zach, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching this week? I had a very slow week, but I managed to cram in some things. First thing I saw was FDR, American Badass, and I've seen this movie a few times.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, how do I explain this movie? Have you seen it, Brad?
Nope.
Have you heard of it?
I have seen the cover art on Digital Bits.
Okay, yeah.
Before.
So you know by the cover what you're kind of getting into. It's a very low rent.
I know from the title what I'm getting into.
Yeah, it's a very low rent, like Z grade movie. But it was, I don't know if the trailer came first or if the movie came first, but it's from this guy that did a movie called Pool Boy: Drowning Out the Fury, and he's just like very, I think his name is Ross Patterson, and he's just very outwardly like. I think subversive. Like his stuff is very like edgy, but it's not edgy as if there's something that would be shocking. It's just shock for the sake of being shocked, like a John Waters movie kind of vibe. So FDR American Badass is the incredible story of how what's his name? Who plays FDR? Barry Bostwick, who plays FDR. Gets bitten by a werewolf, and all he cares about is whether or not his cock still works. And when he finds out his cock still works, but he's got polio, and their way of polio is just showing that he's got shriveled up hot dog legs, and they just show them like rubbering around. And he'll make jokes to Bruce McGill, that's by the way Bruce McGill, D-Day from Animal House, plays FDR's faithful assistant Lewis, who like there's a point where the doctor who's helping FDR is walking down the hallway with Lewis, and he's like, there's something I need to show you. And he starts pulling out a key, and Lewis just puts a gun in his face and goes, do not ask me to grab your dick and guess the temperature. Motherfucker, I'm not playing hide the killer keys either. Just like weird shit, like the doctor pulls off a curtain off of a dead guy to reveal a squirrel jammed up some guy's ass, and Lewis just goes, what the fuck, bro? And it's got like really funny jokes. Like the whole script is written in a way that is just funny because it's FDR saying fucked up shit. Like going like, that was Woodrow Wilson for you. He just didn't give a fuck. He comes out with his dick resting over a hanger shouting, does this look too unsuitable to bring into Congress? Like stuff like that. It's just absolutely insane and stupid. But I've watched this film 5 times prior, and I still don't understand for the life of me why I keep watching this movie. I think it's to watch Barry Bostwick act insane. Like it's genuinely insane. Like and it's very low budget, very low rent. Like there's a moment where he takes out a gun called Eleanor's Eulogy Maker, and it's literally just like it looks like it was typed on a label maker.
Yeah.
So it's intentionally crappy. Like the backgrounds and the amount of extras that they have. It's clearly done on a very low budget for an intentional purpose. But I was trying to figure out like where were they going to sell this movie? How much was this made for? And how did Barry Bostwick and Ray Wise and I guess I can understand why Kevin Sorbo was involved in it, but like some other people in it, I'm just like, how did they get involved in this? Like Lynn Shay, who's Robert Shay's, I think it's daughter, was in the movie. She plays Eleanor Roosevelt.
Robert Shaw?
Lynn Shay, Robert Shay. Rob Shay's the guy who runs New Line Cinema, or ran New Line Cinema.
Oh, okay.
Lynn Shay's been in a bunch of horror films in the past. So to see her in this role as Eleanor Roosevelt, it was really funny. There's a scene where their son shits in a vase. That's the kind of movie you're getting into. It's just this wacky, insane movie where you don't expect to see people that you completely forgotten they've existed, and then suddenly they pop up. Like Kevin Sorbo plays Abraham Lincoln in the movie. It's bizarre. The only other thing I watched this week, which was Roosevelt related, which is that I finished the Roosevelt Ken Burns documentary.
Cool.
I had no idea about the stuff that Eleanor Roosevelt had done beyond just being a very good politician and whatnot. So just to be reminded of some of that stuff, like a lot of the humanitarian efforts, like her Declaration of Human Rights that she helped establish with the UN. Just learning all that stuff was really interesting and fascinating to get to the bottom of. But I also love the actors that Ken Burns hires to read the diary entries, because they all sound like very exaggerated characterizations. They don't sound like they're trying to do an acting job at all. So every time you hear something from Teddy Roosevelt, it sounds like just hearing a comedy version of Teddy Roosevelt in your head. So then every time that they were talking about FDR doing something, I would just yell out to the TV screen, "Eleanor, get my hat." We're going out to save the war. Just stuff like that, just to entertain myself. So
Yeah.
But Ken Burns is really good. I want him to do a documentary on Twitter next and see how that works out. So, but
That'd be good.
yeah, that's what I've been watching this week.
Cool. Hey, before we proceed, we have to roll back because there was some big news this week that I missed.
What was it?
Okay, what you're looking at is actually not the big news, but I'll start with that one since you've already seen it. Unfortunately, Tommy Wirkola has dropped out of directing Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters 2.
Son of a bitch.
Potentially one of the best movies of last year. Just saying. Which that's a shame, because he's probably the only reason that fucking movie worked. And boy, howdy does that movie work. But no, the real huge news is that they announced this week that The Hateful Eight is going to be shot in Colorado.
Yep.
Which is really, really cool. Not quite as good as it could be. Like, Colorado's basically going to put all of the money that we offer to films into The Hateful Eight to make sure they shoot it here.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as has been said many times, and hopefully somebody in the government in Colorado fucking finally hears it, we should put more money in that shit. But still, really awesome. Hopefully it's a good step forward for Colorado and film in Colorado. So can't wait for that.
More
Plus,
importantly, it means
dude,
a Quentin Tarantino movie is being shot here.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's
it means,
so badass.
And it means that movie will look gorgeous because it's going to have some really cool locations in it.
Yep.
Like, dude, think of the places you could shoot in
I think
Colorado.
they're shooting
and
up in
how
Telluride.
awesome they are. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And just, like, absolutely beautiful country. And exactly where I don't know anything about that movie. Nobody does, but every Western movie should be shot here because you can do all of them in this state. You can do like the weird Unforgiven ones that are out in the plains out in the east, and you can do the cool mountainy, like, let's eat each other Donner Party stuff up in the mountains. Like, this is the place to be.
Yeah, and
know?
then let me ask you the question that would come on people's minds: how many Westerns are really coming out? That's
This
the
is true.
problem.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's a problem. It's not the problem.
Right, but they also filmed like Fast 5 here. There were
That's
sequences
true.
of Fast 6. I'm sorry,
Fast 6, yeah,
Furious 6, whatever the fuck it's called,
and 7.
Yeah, but like if you look at the budget for, and in the articles for this announcement, they've talked about this. If you look at the amount of money that the Fast and Furious movie that they shot here was actually qualified for, and compare it to how much money that movie spent here, they spent like $12 million here, and we gave them $700,000, and that $700,000 was a fraction of what potentially they could have earned in another state.
Right. I'm not downing it at all. I'm just like, there's a reason why like all those Westerns don't always come here is because there's very few being made, and then sometimes we lose out.
Yeah.
Like True Grit was going to be shot here.
Right.
Not
because the original
one
was
was shot here.
Yeah.
But like the remake, they were going to shoot it here, and then they just bowed out at the last. No,
Right.
I don't know if it
well,
was
because
the last
other
minute
states
or...
offer a lot more money for this
Yep.
shit.
We need to do it, but
and it's a pretty easy math like you look at it and you go, oh, okay, if we put aside more money to give to movies and more money comes here for them to spend here, like it's easy. Like, and of course, we've been saying that it was easy for 15 years, and nobody's ever done anything about it. But I mean, it's getting better, but it's still not good enough. So cool, really good news.
Yeah.
Again, hopefully a sign of good things to come.
Today the Hateful Eight, tomorrow the Hateful Nine. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Cool. This week we saw Gone Girl, David Fincher's latest opus of crime / drama / eerie music. Should people go see Gone Girl?
Before I answer that question, I would like to issue a statement to the elderly couple to my right. You are both a bunch of cocks.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
And, sir, your wife is an even bigger cock.
Oh, shit.
For not only was it bad enough that they were a little chatty and really loud about eating their popcorn, but they also smuggled outside food into their screening, and she had microwave popcorn that she left the bag behind for the theater to clean up. So fuck you, bitch.
Because like we smuggled some food in, but we threw our trash away when we left.
Yes.
So rude. So
Oh,
rude
man.
of those two.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Like-
and we were quiet,
Yeah, I mean,
which is the worst part.
We were laughing in appropriate places, and I looked it over and I saw that you weren't there, and I'm like, did he really leave? And
Oh, yeah.
James
Oh
was
no,
like,
I knew. I knew as soon as like because they came in. Which okay, we got there early and got seats in the front in the section we like. 'Cause, okay, we have to preface this with we had to go to a plebeian AMC theater because the Alamo was sold out.
You kept calling it that the whole night. The plebeian place.
Yeah, like I had to go to this fucking barren wasteland where the normies
hey, man,
go.
that theater's by my house. Be nice.
Hey, I grew up on that theater. That theater was my favorite
Yeah.
theater growing up. It was really cool.
Still one of my favorite theaters to
Um,
go to, although
Well, no,
Today's
dude,
experience
it's going
wasn't the
downhill.
best.
Like all that shit they do beforehand with like the bouncing red balls is obnoxious. They make going to a theater feel like getting on an airplane, and not in the like we're going to a fun destination. Like getting on an airplane.
going to Nebraska.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, cool. Like somebody's gonna tell me how to buckle my fucking seatbelt. Like that's what going to a movie theater feels like. There. And then you've got like just the exorbitant like. You could spend more money there on shittier food than the Alamo. Like it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to just harken on, but
Yeah.
then so we get there early but Brad hasn't gotten there yet, and the lady comes over, and at first she wanted to sit right fucking next to you, Zach.
Yeah.
And she walked up and she was like, "Are these seats taken? Can we take these seats?" And I was like, "Well, we've got one more person
Because you know
coming."
me, I
so,
attract that old poontang.
so like I would expect that normal human beings would be like, oh, so they're using this one, so we'll go down 2 and take 2 seats. So that way there's a space. Because that space is nice. In a normal theater, that space is a little bit nice to just make sure that everybody gets their room, everybody gets to enjoy the movie the way they want to, and also if you're a fucking chatty Cathy, you're at least a little bit farther away from everybody. But of course she didn't. They like sat down right there, and I was like, "Fuck!" And as soon as that happened, I told Zach, I was like, "Brad's not going to sit here. Like, Brad's going to go sit up front."
You called it. Like, I didn't believe you, but you called it.
Well, but at least Brad, you tried.
You made an
unfortunately.
effort. You made a valiant
Like,
effort.
Yeah,
you for a while there, you wouldn't have ever sat with us.
I would have sat next to you, had the one seat, and I had like gooey shit on it.
Right, because nobody fucking cleans the theater because the people who go to the theater fucking take shits in the seats and
I
leave them
offered to
behind.
switch seats with you. Like, I do want to be clear. We did try to rectify this
Well,
situation.
Yeah.
no, it's not our fault that these people were
I
horrible.
don't think it would have
That's
made much
true.
of a difference in the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the people to my left talked every now and then as well. Like that's the thing. Like the fucking shit kickers go to the normal theaters and talk all the way through. Fucking behave, right? Like you're in public.
It's a lost art, man.
So that's your
Anyway.
review of Gone Girl?
So
So anyway, that's my statement.
yeah.
They're a couple of cocks.
So
and
those
they go
people,
fuck themselves.
shouldn't go see any movies,
especially
but-
just the bringing the outside food in and then leaving
And then
it
leaving
for
it, yeah.
someone else to pick up.
I'll just throw this on the floor.
Yeah. Like I couldn't be bothered to buy your popcorn. I
Yeah.
had to, which I think because they were there before I got there, and then they weren't
Yeah.
there when I did get there. So
Right.
I assume they went home to pop the popcorn and come back with it.
They probably walked up to the front of the line and were like, I brought in this popcorn. Could you throw this in your deep fryer for 2 minutes?
Anyway, so yeah, after I finally chose new seats, I got sucked into the movie, and it was really impressive at the turning point. Leading up to it, I was like, okay, another procedural. I see where this is going, and then it switches, and it was awesome from then on out.
Yeah.
James, should people go see Gone Girl?
So I think this movie is pretty awesome, and I do think people should see it. I've got some issues with it. I don't think the script is always great. There are just some things that really rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's really good. Not my favorite Fincher. Not my favorite score from Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, but still, definitely worth checking out. It's interesting, and the twist is the reason to see this movie, which is unfortunate for some of the other things that suffer because of that.
I'm in agreement with you on only one thing. This isn't my favorite Fincher movie, but then again, I have a very specific favorite Fincher movie.
Yeah.
This film was better than I expected, given the fact that the trailer for it seemed very procedural, as Brad said earlier.
Yeah.
But I thought this film was perfectly cast. I thought that the script was dynamite because it handles its reveal very well, and it doesn't beat me over the head with it. It brings it in. It brings it to light. Just because they reveal what the twist is doesn't mean they don't explain the full psychology of that character. They let us develop an opinion about it over time.
I agree.
I thought that this was the best Ben Affleck performance since Hollywoodland. I thought he was very good. He was in the right emotional place for this content and for this story. That's not to say he wasn't good in Argo or anything like that, but this was clearly a step up from what he had, from directing himself, I think.
And he handles the character and the mystery really well.
Exactly. And I actually thought that this was one of the most interesting Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor scores, because it was for such a the idea seems so simple, and yet it becomes so much more complicated halfway through. So I like the way it kind of the score misleads you a little bit, because there's this overwhelming sense of paranoia throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very ambient, which I think is why I just don't click with it. Like, I don't think it's bad. I think it's effective. I just don't love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the trailer for Gone Girl.
Nick Dunn, you're probably the most hated man in America right now. Did you kill your wife, Nick?
Everyone told us marriage is hard work. Not for me and Nick.
As you all know, my wife, Amy Elliott Dunn, disappeared 3 days ago. I had nothing to do with the disappearance of my wife. I have nothing to hide.
Has Amy got friends we can talk to?
No, not really.
You don't know if she has friends, you don't know what she does all day, and you don't know your wife's blood type.
Just being a good guy, so everybody can see him being a good guy.
Well, you really don't like him, do you?
All I'm trying to do is be nice to the people who are volunteering to help find Amy.
I will practice believing my husband loves me, but I could be wrong.
You ever see that guy in the glasses before?
Amy is the kind of girl who attracts admirers.
Whoever took her is bound to bring her back.
I'm hoping you can tell me what this means.
Want to solve Amy's treasure hunt?
Seen this girl around here?
Yeah, I remember her.
I know you. I saw you at the volunteer center.
I wanted to help.
What'd she want?
She wanted a gun.
We are all scared, but we are all here now.
I feel like something to be jettisoned if necessary. I feel like I could disappear.
The hallmark of a sociopath is a lack of empathy.
Amy lost a lot of blood in there, and then somebody mopped it up.
Why do they mop up the blood if they're trying to stage a crime scene?
Whatever they found, I think it's safe to assume that it's very bad.
I'd finally realized I am frightened of my own husband.
I would show you, as if you're doing a deposition, what to say, what not to say.
A trained monkey?
A trained monkey who doesn't get lethal injection.
She's going to eat you alive.
You assaulted her?
It's not good enough for you?
I hit her?
It's not even close!
Absolutely not. I never touched her.
We now believe Nick is involved in the disappearance of our daughter.
Without a body, without a murder weapon, their only hope is a confession.
Don't know anything yet?
You need to tell me.
How was your marriage, Nick?
Are you asking me if I killed my wife?
Man of my dreams. This man of mine may kill me.
What about my son, Nick?
This man may kill me. In her own words,
This man may truly kill me.
You ever hear the expression, the simplest answer is often the correct one?
actually, I've never found that to be true.
So I want to be clear that it's not the beats of the script that I don't like. It's the dialogue of the script I don't like.
I can agree.
Like the first half of that movie, the way the people talk, and I don't want to blame Fincher, but I honestly think that it might be in his court a little as well. Like some of those flashback sequences with the two of them, just it feels to me like two Hollywood actors delivering dialogue from a script. Like it for some reason those scenes to me,
The chemistry wasn't there for you?
It's not even just chemistry, it's just the way it's written feels very forced.
I feel like it's deliberate. Because I was sitting there, and by the way, this is spoiler territory. I can't talk about the movie without talking about the twist anymore.
Yeah. So the thing, let's get this, just in case we didn't make it clear, we're going to get into spoilers now that the trailer has rolled. This is a movie that if you are interested in, and we told you to see it, you need to just turn this off, because
Starting now.
everything we're going to
effect.
talk about is going to have to do with the spoilers of this movie. So, fair warning. Okay, Brad.
So when I started watching it, after I was able to, that was
sorry, I just hurt myself.
I thought you totally took a mouthful of
Fincher
microphone
doesn't
on
want
that
you
one.
to talk about the ending. That's why he's hurting you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so once I was finally dialed into the story and not distracted, I started feeling like I was watching the game again. I started sitting there going like, wouldn't it be cool if she wasn't dead and she was totally playing Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Because I'm too convinced that Ben Affleck did this right now.
Right.
Right.
I was in the same
feeling
place.
like those flashbacks were misdirection to make me uneasy to start thinking that way. Like, this seems odd that these are so oddly written and so like the relationship is too beautifully constructed. Like someone's just kind of dreaming of a story.
Yeah.
And also, he was a writer, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was his occupation. So
it reads like...
I feel like someone in this story is writing this story.
Yeah, it reads... Yeah. And if you're right, that's a genius. I don't know that it works for me, but like it... I think that your argument is very sound because obviously because that's how you felt, but because it does... I feel like those parts of the movie read like a Nicholas Sparks script at times, right?
Oh,
like
very much so.
They're just really, but the thing is that I feel like the parts in the present felt that way for me too.
Oh.
Like there were sequences there that I was also kind of like this just feels kind of forced.
This film felt in a weird way like it was making fun of those elements, though. Like
It
I
might
told
be.
you in the car, this film feels like a satire.
Oh, it totally is.
Not just Fincher movies, but also just the media.
Once you get into what this movie really is, this movie is absolutely damning of the media.
Oh, very much
in a more dramatic network kind of way. Because, and I have to think of it that way because I also think that some of the plot here to me is a little bit too far-fetched. Like the idea that he ends up in this trap to me is a little bit forced, but I have to look at it from sort of that network satire point of view where they're actually working me to a place where the world is so dark and horrible and where the media is such a fucking horrible thing that should basically not exist, that is like doing a disservice to all of humanity.
And that's...
which
pretty
is
true.
It's pretty no, it totally is. But the idea that this character would give into that the way that he does, because that the way the way the movie ends and where it ends, that character is like, I don't know. She gets away with some things that I feel like would never be actually possible in the real world. You know. Because he really does have outs. Like, he shouldn't be stuck where he is. but they write the movie in such a way that it makes you feel like,
Yeah, just because you can't see, like, I'm sure if you rewatch this movie, you'd see all the places where he could have gone a different direction. But from a first viewing, that film, it creates the illusion of being airtight. Like, as far as like solid writing.
I don't think it does, because there are things like this is a script that bothered me enough from time to time that I never noticed this. This is not a thing I ever noticed in movies, but I noticed it this time. So when Tyler Perry shows up and Ben Affleck opens the door and he's like, Elvis has landed in Missouri or whatever it is, however he says it.
Yeah, those
lines were
really.
And then later, his sister says it. Well, his sister wasn't in that fucking scene, so why is she calling back to a line like that kind of shit? I never noticed that in movies, and I noticed it in this one.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was me getting kind of nitpicky because. Or not even nitpicky, but because of the kind of story that it's telling, and you're trying to solve this mystery.
Maybe that's on his billboard somewhere. That's his catchphrase in his commercials.
That movie was long enough that there's got to be a longer cut somewhere. Maybe that was another thing for me. Like, one of the things that I love the fact that Zodiac was super long because it covered an entire portion of history.
Yeah,
this film felt unnecessarily long.
That's my Fincher.
Yeah, that's my Fincher too. But still, this it's there was a point where I thought you could have shaved certain sections of the film off.
Oh, I agree.
Just to make it more tight. Like, the movie was 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I know the part
taken 20 out easily.
When the police finally started accusing Ben Affleck of murdering his wife, I was like, God damn, this movie's almost over.
I know. I was like, seriously,
wrapped that up pretty quick.
It's taking you so long to get to that part.
Yeah.
But the reason,
it makes sense because it's a character study. So it makes perfect sense why he would draw it out like that, and why the script is drawn out like that.
Well, and the beat makes sense there because they don't do that until after we know he didn't.
Right.
Right. Like, it's actually really well structured. It's just that there are a lot of those elements to it. The section that's interesting to me is the section where, but it's also in there for a reason, is the section where she's like at the trailer park with those people. And if in retrospect you look at it and go like, that seems like it's just a bunny trail that doesn't really mean much, but the truth is, or is only there to get her to Neil Patrick Harris's character. But the truth is, that's there because at that point in the movie, you're supposed to feel like Ben Affleck is helpless and that she's winning, right? Like, this plan is brilliant.
Yeah,
and then of course
Ben Affleck can't do it on his own. Like, to top her, she's way too smart.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So something else that she hasn't planned for has to happen.
Yeah. But then what you realize is actually she's really a sociopath, and that.
She has no idea what she's doing.
She really isn't the mastermind that we think she is. Like, she is, because she did all this crazy shit. But at the same time,
she's just as unorganized as somebody who doesn't know what they want.
Right. Like, when we see her actually have to pull one of those off, we realize she's just winging it the whole time.
Yeah.
Which almost makes it seem like she must have been so fucking bored for those first 4 years of their marriage, because who was she screwing over during that time? Because once that character flips, like, that character is a maniac, she spits in that woman's drink, like she's almost uncontrollably vicious. It's almost bizarre.
It's one of the best performances of the year for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think Rosamund Pike deserves a nomination for that role.
I would agree with you.
That role is just that. It's like, did you ever see The Bad Seed?
No, I've never
It's
seen
like
that.
seeing the little kid from The Bad Seed all grown up. It's really, really.
Oh, yeah, she's really good.
Oh God! And there's like, there's this.
Because she never chews scenery. Like,
No,
she's
she never
always
does. She's very
on point.
subdued. It's very restrained. I thought Ben Affleck's performance was a lot more like, it was a little more dramatic, overly dramatic, but I think it was done in the right way.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I thought this film was perfectly cast. Like, even down to Tyler Perry. I like Tyler Perry in terms of, like, he's competent enough as an actor, but I didn't know how funny he could be unless you give him the right role, apparently. And this role was really good for him. And I like Neil Patrick Harris. Like, there's a scene where he's showing Rosamund Pike's character. Yeah, this is his butt. Neil Patrick Harris shows Amy, the character Amy, around the house, and it's just kind of funny. It's throwaway, but it's just also like I could see why you'd put Neil Patrick Harris in that role, or I could see why you'd put Tyler Perry in this role. Like, you're just putting him in roles that fit for them. And David Fincher's really good about casting people you wouldn't expect, like Justin Timberlake in The Social Network, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So to watch him
Or
kind of
the,
work with these two actors was interesting.
The naked supermodel person who's in this one is the 21-year-old.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name. Carrie Coon plays Margot, his sister. She's great.
She is excellent in the movie.
She plays Nora in The Leftovers, and I was really glad to see her pop up here, because especially in that first half where she has to be very paranoid about her brother, like, she pulled that off really well. And then the relationship that they get to build because of that sequence is actually really cool.
That makes her last scene in the movie even more tragic and more disturbing. Like, this movie, the movie's final moments are so fucking disturbing. Like, that's what the trap feels like. That it never felt like a trap in the middle of the movie, but when she, like, we're just gonna go off and blow the lid on this. When she kills Neil Patrick Harris's character, and she comes back up to the steps of Ben Affleck's house, and you start seeing not the unraveling of their marriage, but actually the refoundation of their marriage.
Yeah,
it's so disturbing and so unsettling. And and that scene where Ben Affleck is talking to his sister seems like the only time where he feels like free from this. It's now a mental prison.
Yeah,
he's been put into a mental prison, and it was fucking like just. It was not hard to watch because nothing really intense is going on beyond like the shouting.
Yeah,
but damn, it's just unsettling to think about.
But it's Neil Patrick Harris's kid. Why was he so invested in it?
Is it?
I don't know.
Oh no!
It'd have to be, right?
No. He jerked off into a freezer bank somewhere, and she faked that stuff got destroyed, and then impregnated herself with it. Shit like that is why I don't like the script. Like, that part of the trap is why I don't like the script.
Right.
Yeah, because that. Yeah. The idea there is that she had his semen somewhere, and
the whole time.
Yep. I had your semen
I had
the
your
whole
cum
time.
this whole time.
Yeah, like
Mr.
those are the kinds of
Batfleck.
things where, like, or on the same video where she's supposedly getting raped, there's also video of her walking in with Neil Patrick Harris and being in that house. Like, did she completely avoid the cameras while she was there, other than when she walked into the house? There are things that feel to me very convenient.
There was a shot where she looked at the cameras.
I know,
To
but
be
she didn't
clear.
know they were there till she was in. So once she was in the house, yeah, but she didn't know they were there till she was in the house,
Right.
And can she like?
I think the police officer started to bring stuff like that up, and then people just started to ignore it because
Yeah, the whole point was that nobody was listening to reason; everybody was just listening to a story.
Right.
The
okay.
sob story. Yeah.
That's fine, but we also, on the other hand, have a movie like Zodiac where you have a guy who's a cartoonist who knows the story or is so obsessed with the story in front of him that he has to find out the truth. That over here we have this cop who basically finds out, like, oh, this is all fucking insane, and this woman's a sociopath, and this guy is being done completely wrong, and she says, well, the FBI went home, so I'm done. What? Like, it's unfortunate because
I think she was
that
done because she was ordered to be done.
Yeah, she
So
was
she
ordered
can't
to
just-
be done like that.
believe what human being is this? Like, she is this really, like, you've built up this
Jurisdictions,
really
man.
you've built this really intelligent cop, like, who we're supposed to really like, and then she basically, in a line of dialogue, disappears from the story. Like, I understand that you're building towards this really. You're building towards both this damnation of what the media has become and what it's doing, and this cool, flashy ending, which you know I'm a sucker for. The screen goes black and what's going to happen next endings. But this is not one of my favorites because it feels to me very contrived in those last like 10 minutes. Because I think you could have done something cooler where you put him in a position where maybe he decides to kill his wife and then you leave it. Like, because as far as I'm concerned, the screen goes black and then he grabs her skull and breaks it against something. And who gives a fuck if he goes to jail? Like, that woman is the devil, and whatever she gives birth to should be killed as well. Like, she's fucking insane. Okay, I'm going to take back the killing the baby part. But, like, she should die, and then the baby should like get given to the state or something, so it gets raised by normies because this woman is unsafe, and anything she gets to raise is also unsafe.
Your obsession with normies tonight is like unparalleled.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like,
Brad,
in
are
my
we
mind,
normies?
that's what. But the movie doesn't
we're
really
nerds.
give you that. You know, the movie doesn't end on a "is he gonna fucking stab her with a knife?"
I didn't think it would end that way. Like
Yeah.
he makes it. I thought he made himself perfectly clear when he's talking to his sister. He doesn't damn himself to his own living hell, but like it's
wait till that's what should have happened. Is it should have been like a delivery ending, right? Like they're in the hospital, and she's giving birth, and she gives birth, and he takes out a knife and stabs her in the fucking throat.
Ooh.
And then you're just like, oh my god, and then just cut to credits. Like, that would have been great. Like, that's what I wanted.
That would have been. There was no way that movie would have been like sold to any company.
No.
Oh wait,
oh yeah,
Asylum?
Delivery came out on Blu-ray this last week as well. We missed that one.
I was at Walmart the other night. Delivery, The Battery, and Willow Creek are all on DVD.
Holy shit.
On the same shelf.
Oh my god, that's cool. Yeah. All of which we saw at the Telly at Horror Show.
Yeah, but I want Blu-rays, so fuck that.
Well, don't go to Walmart. It's hard to find like good Blu-rays.
Yeah, it
Walmart
was
anymore.
an
It's
act of
horrible
desperation.
experience. Yeah, so I don't know. I like it. I just have a hard time with the last 10 minutes or so.
I'll wrap up what I want to say about it. To me, Fincher's really good to me at making taking the very lurid and making. He's the closest thing to me that we have to a noir director anymore. Because noir is not just a look; it's also a feel and an attitude.
Other than Rian Johnson's Brick.
Yeah, that's true. Or that. But Fincher's like the closest that we have to like a real noir director who
I know what you're saying.
who can elevate what seems like lifeless material. Like if you had sold Gone Girl to me as something directed by somebody else, I don't know if I would have taken it seriously, but it's clear that this is taken seriously, and the dark turns that it does take, and the very violent and very Girl with the Dragon Tattoo-esque scene where Neil Patrick Harris dies, it can only be handled by somebody like Fincher. So I applaud him for taking a story like this and elevating it beyond and above what it could have been. And I give all the props in the world to Ben Affleck, who I've said before in the past is a great actor, and this just shows how good he can be. But I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people on the internet going like, "Oh, it still wasn't good." And it's like, fuck those people. They don't like. If they don't like Ben Affleck as Batman, they don't have to go. Like they think that's the only reason that they would give him shit.
I just don't like Ben Affleck because he knocked up Jennifer Garner and got Alias canceled. But whatever.
Oh, whatever.
He's a good actor and a good director.
Sometimes
but
things need to end.
Fuck that guy. Not like that, man. Not like that.
Cool. Next week we are
Next week, The Judge.
The Judge.
Which I think should see the return of one Ryan Frost to the podcast.
Guess what, Zach? You're fired.
Oh!
But in all seriousness, Zach, thank you so much.
Yeah.
For sticking with us for these last 4 or 5 weeks, however long it's been.
Is this going to be the return of
Ryan? It feels
Ryan,
like it's been an eternity.
Yeah, it feels like...
It's a Robert Downey Jr. movie. I'm pretty sure he'll fucking be here for it.
No, I know. He'll be back.
Yeah.
But, like, is
Yeah.
he coming back for the weeks after?
I don't know.
We'll find out. I wanted to say, I've enjoyed doing this for the past couple of weeks, and to be able to make this a part of my Friday and Saturday night routine, depending on what days we go. Sorry. It's just amazing to watch the podcast grow and to do it week by week and seeing how you guys... do it every week, and I think that that's been a real treat for me. And
Thank you.
I mean, we got to review like what has become one of my favorite movies of the year, like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, The Box Trolls.
Yeah, the Box Trolls, exactly.
Yeah.
The Box Trolls.
It's a great movie.
So thank you guys for having me come on board for this, and I can't wait to see Ryan again and match up my hosting qualities to his hosting qualities, and then we can have that ultimate battle that I've been talking about in my head.
Yep.
To myself.
It's been
alone.
good.
In my boxers.
Whoa. Now it's not good anymore.
No, it's not good
stopped
anymore?
being good.
Yeah,
No.
I know. That's a scary thought.
Remember
for
what
any
happened
woman or
last
man.
time you made too many dick jokes.
Yeah, that's true. You cut me off. Cool.
Cool. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find him on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.